This is the Panasonic G7, and it's essentially the camera that kind of launched this whole channel. Because back in 2016, when I started making videos, I needed a better camera for video. I had great photo cameras, but they didn't really do video. And I found this and I bought it, and hundreds of videos later, I still have one around because it's a great little camera. But there's always been a few areas of this camera that I didn't love, that kind of kept me back from really settling into a lifetime relationship with the camera, because I couldn't trust it, and it had a few drawbacks. So I've always been on the lookout for a camera that could kind of do it all. And I ended up leaving this to going to Sony, and there were features I didn't like about that. And then I tried Canon, and there were features that I didn't love about that. And I upgraded to like EOS R, like full frame Canon. And while I loved it, there were still drawbacks about that. In the end, I sold it all because I wasn't doing much videos, and I just kind of have kept this. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you've seen even some of the series I did in the summer with the PT Cruiser, where I made vlogs with it and showed that you can still make really nice videos with this. But even in the process of doing that, there were certainly moments where I thought, oh, I wish this thing would autofocus better. I wish that the 4K didn't crop in more. I wish that it was better in low light. And so it's been fine. I still keep it around for live streaming, but I've been on the lookout for something different, and this camera finally broke. I had a memory card break off inside, and I kind of half fixed it, but now it won't work anymore. So I can only use it for live streaming, and so the time came to upgrade. And I was trying to think, like, what am I going to get? Because I didn't want to spend tons and tons of money. Like, so far, my favorite video platform has been the Canon RF series. Like the EOS R, it looked amazing. It was fantastic. But if I wanted to buy another one of those cameras, or the new R5 or R6, and get a lens or two for it, we're talking like $5,000, like easy $500 to $7,500. And I don't make enough videos for that. I'm not at that budget point. And I have a great lens with this camera. It's a lens I'm shooting on right now, the Panasonic 12 to 35 millimeter f2.8. It's the lens that I say, if you can only get one lens for a camera like this, just get this lens. It can do absolutely everything well. Used ones aren't that much money. They're probably like $500 US, somewhere around there. And so I thought, if I can find a better version of this, then I could just take that lens, put it on there, and do everything. And I believe that I have found that camera. And that's what I'm shooting on right now, the Olympus OMD EM-1 Mark II. It's the first true worthy successor to this that fixes all the flaws. And let's talk about what makes this camera a little bit great. Just first, as a platform, it's a professional level camera that came out in 2017. I didn't get the Mark III because, well, it's a good chunk more money, and I just couldn't justify why I would need to spend the extra money, because this one's great, professional. That means the build quality on it's fantastic. It's a little bit heavier, but you're gonna get a much bigger battery for better battery life. It's completely weather sealed, so you can take it out in sand and snow and sun and all the elements, and you know that it's going to be okay. You also get some of the pro level video features, which, depending if you've been working with this for a while and you're ready to step up, you're gonna get proper log shooting. You're gonna get higher bitrate codec, so you can make it better quality. And even if you don't really care about that stuff, some other amazing features. It's got 5-axis in-body image stabilization, which means if you put on my favorite vlogging lens, the Panasonic 7 to 14 millimeter, which doesn't have stabilization, this camera will stabilize for it. Or any other number of prime lenses that aren't stabilized, you're gonna get incredibly stable motion with that. It also has like not full frame, but like full sensor 4K, where this one has to crop in a little bit more. This one can go the full width. But the biggest thing that this camera has is incredible autofocus. I can throw something up here, it's gonna focus on it. I can take it away, my face is gonna be in focus. I can move forward under my microphone. I can move back. It has face tracking, and you can finally trust it because it uses both contrast autofocus and phase detection autofocus. Anyway, it's an advanced system that just works really, really well. And that was always the big thing. I want a micro four thirds camera with reliable autofocus. And Olympus's first attempts at it didn't necessarily go so well, and they weren't reliable. But this one, especially with the new firmware, firmware update has just been incredible. You get a headphone jack so you can plug in and listen. So if you're on client shoots or you're shooting yourself, you could actually listen to your audio and make sure it sounds good, which I should have done the first time I made this video, and then found out my audio was ruined because of interference. But I can plug in headphones, which I have right there. Like, just an incredible package that I bought used, which was basically brand new. It had like 600 shutter actuations, which is nothing. I bought it for 950 Canadian dollars. It's about $700 US. And I think on eBay they go for around $700, or you can buy it brand new with warranty. I saw it $1,300 Canadian. I'm assuming $1,000 US. You can still buy this camera. And it does everything. Like, this is a pro level camera that, unless you need 4K 60 frames per second, it does 120 frames per second. It does cinema 4K. It does 24, 30 frames per second at 4K. It does everything that I could possibly think of, pretty much, for a camera than those really high frame rates. The low light on it, in my testing, looks way better than what this was. That was always an issue with this camera. You get into low light and the colors would get really mushy. This one, it looks much, much cleaner, especially because you can shoot in log and save some of those, the dynamic range to be able to color grade afterwards. As well as just the level of flexibility on the camera. You've got way more function buttons. My favorite feature is it's got this little switch on the back. Flick the switch and your two dials go from being aperture and shutter speed to, I've got it set to ISO and white balance, which means I have full control to go from a nice well-lit studio. I could pick it up off the thing, go out vlogging, and if the lighting changed, I just turn the dial. I need to make it brighter. It gives you full control over everything, which is, again, the goal is taking the G7 and stepping up without breaking the bank. And I can't think of any camera recently, or that I've come across, that lets you do that so easily, especially if you've invested in a couple of good lenses. They're gonna work. Panasonic and Olympus lenses, they're both micro four thirds. They work on each other's systems. So it's fantastic. I'm actually really stoked about this. And I credit my buddy Dave Mays, who you may have seen him on Kinotika or Indie Mogul. And we were texting back and forth about the cameras, and I was originally looking at the EM-5 Mark III, which is kind of similarly priced, but then I found out that there's currently no way to like plug it in, which for live streaming, if you want to live stream for hours, you want to have a way to either like plug it in so it can stay on for hours and hours. It couldn't do that, so that was the reason why I didn't choose that one. Otherwise, I might have. But in the end, this is actually this is pro level, and it's great. And the battery on this one is huge, so your battery life's going to be a lot longer. You can get an AC adapter, battery converter thing, so that you can do that and keep it in forever. It's just kind of like, it's a weapon in so many different ways. And even today, if you're like, I don't know what half of those things mean. I was looking at a G7, but I saw this video and thought, oh, maybe I should check it out to see if I should get this instead. Just know, if you're planning to get really serious about video, this is worth spending the extra money on over this if you can swing it. Or if you're going, I want to vlog, I want to have things where I'm doing like a makeup channel, I want to be able to throw things up at the screen and have it be able to focus on it. I want to be able to do those things. This camera can do that reliably, whereas this one, you just can't really trust it. So, Olympus OMD EM-1 Mark II. I can't even remember all the features over Mark III. We started going down that rabbit hole, me and Dave. It's like, oh, the Mark III I think has USB charging and a couple other features. I'm like, I just don't think I'll need it. And in the end now, I don't think that I do need it, because the footage that I've seen so far looks fantastic. The first version of this video that I saw, the footage where I had to listen and go, oh, my audio's ruined, I got to reshoot it. I look good right now, right? I think I look pretty good. I mean, the camera quality looks good, the hair maybe could, the beard, it is what it is. But anyway, that's my new camera. That's what I've upgraded, a little bit of why. I'm excited to continue making a bunch more videos. Got a big little life change here. I quit my job, going back to doing my own thing, which I'm excited about. And this is going to be a tool that's going to help me get there. So questions, comments? Have you guys thought about this camera? What can I help you figure out? You use this camera? Are you still not sure if you get a G7 or another camera? Maybe you should get a Sony. Maybe you should, drop a comment below. I love chatting about it. I'm Justin Rivas. Thank you, seriously, for watching.